People can watch it now. Alright, go ahead and start talking.
Okay, my name's David Gordon. We live down here in northwest Florida, and I was going to talk about some ghost experiences we're having here. It's very unusual. I never saw anything like this before. I kept seeing something go by the front window in the living room out of the corner of my eye, and I kept seeing it, and I kept telling my wife something just went by. I don't know what it was. I catch it out of the corner of my eye, and my wife said it's probably flocks of birds. And then we got to noticing, and it was a guy in a blue jacket walking across the yard right on the other side of the porch railing, real fast, swinging his arms, moving left to right. And we kept on seeing this over and over. And that time before Christmas, I was sitting in front of the window looking in the living room, and my wife was sitting over on the other side of the room. She saw that figure go by right at Christmas, right on the other side of the window in the yard, going left to right, same figure. We kept seeing this on, and then one day I was sitting in a couch on the other side of the room, and all this is going on in broad daylight. And this was another time I was sitting there, and this figure came up in the window, a big guy with a black jacket on. It came up to his neck, down to his wrists. He was standing there looking in the window, and he had his hands down in front of him, both clasped together in front of his, in front of his body, standing there. And he was moving his fingers standing there. And he had big hands, a big guy. And then he stuck his right hand out to the side of him. And I said, well, I didn't know who that was. I said, I don't know who's standing there out on the porch. So I jumped up and went out the front door, and there was nobody there at all, nobody out there. And another time, I was sitting by the window in a chair, talking to my wife in another chair on the other side of the window, and the window in between us, right beside us. And I was talking to her, and I glanced out the window because something caught my eye. A figure went right by the window, not 2 feet on the other side of me. A black figure, it looked like a black robe going from the head all the way down to the floor. And he was going left to right, and I glanced up at the top of it, and there was light rays shooting straight up like arcing lights, kind of in the shape of a crown. I wouldn't call it a crown. It looked like arcing straight lights going up, arcing, and real bright. And he walked right by me, right there. And we've seen other figures. I've seen figures go by in a gray coat walking by, and I saw one about 2 weeks ago. A young guy with a green t-shirt on walking by on the other side of the railing. He grabbed the railing like he's coming up on the front porch steps. And I went out there. I thought somebody was here, and nobody out there. And this goes on quite often from time to time, and it's happening in broad daylight. And anything I've seen on these ghost shows, it does not compare to what I've seen here. It's all they hear a noise out in a dark room or something. This is broad daylight, and I don't know how many other people have experienced things like that before. I'm sure people have seen things, but it's very strange. We've been living here about 18 or 19 years. This started about 3 years ago. I do not know why it started, but it's really something else. And I'm not just saying all this, it really happened. I don't know how to explain it. This house was built in 1940. It's not 300 years old, and there was never anything weird going on here on this property that I know anything about. So it's hard to explain it. And it's some of it's very weird. But anyway, I just wanted to put that on there, and thanks for listening. Thanks.
Okay, so that was his story, and this is the window he's been seeing him from right here.
Yeah.
And as you can see, out there is our front porch, and then out in our yard. And so he didn't want to be on the camera, so I'm not going to really show him. But yeah, I was lucky enough to get him to get on here and tell it. But thanks for listening, and see y'all